Today, I want to talk about the 5 personal finance goals that I've set for myself for 2025. So the reason I wanted to do this video is that I think it could be really helpful to set goals here at the beginning of the year to give me some direction for my finances, because I think it's important to be intentional with your money, because when you aren't, you can quickly run into financial trouble. I also want to put this out in a video because I think it will help keep me accountable to these goals and hopefully make it easier to stick to them. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. So the first goal on my list is to put away 15% of my income into retirement accounts. Generally, I think 15% is a healthy amount that if anybody commits to over the course of their life, they will likely end up with a high net worth, as long as they aren't investing in the wrong things, of course. I know personally, if I commit to this 15% over the course of my life, it will more likely than not yield pretty high returns. So I want to have this as one of my goals every year to ensure that I put myself in the best position possible. Side note, I do also plan to invest outside of these retirement accounts in a traditional brokerage account, but I will touch on that later. Part of this goal is to continue what I have already been doing for the last year and a half or so, but also to continue cementing the habit so that I do this over the course of my life. Now, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to split this 15% between my different retirement accounts, but what I'm thinking right now is to put half of it towards my traditional 401k and half of it towards my Roth 401k. Now, the reason I'm planning to use my Roth 401k rather than a Roth IRA is a little bit nuanced simply because of the line of work I'm in. Pretty much, I'm limited in investment options available since there are certain companies I'm not allowed to invest in. And what this means is that if I were to opt for, let's say, a Roth IRA, where I have to decide on where I invest, I would have to go through a clearance process of making sure my investment choices are in line with my company's regulations. Whereas with the Roth 401k, the options are available already, approved by my employer, since they're the ones who sponsor the 401k. And from my research, there isn't much of a difference between the two Roth accounts, since they both have the same tax advantages that you contribute to with post-tax dollars that are tax-free upon retirement. But the 401k variant has a higher contribution limit. If you're thinking maybe there's an aspect I'm overlooking when it comes to Roth IRAs, please leave a comment below, because I'm also continuously learning and trying to figure out what would be the best, so I would love any helpful insight. Now, with all of that being said, I still plan on putting some towards a traditional 401k, since it might be a better choice if my tax bracket is lower at retirement than it is right now. And there's really no way of knowing what my tax rate will be or how tax rates will change over the next 40 years. So I'm thinking of splitting between a traditional and a Roth account just to hedge my bets. Moving on, my second financial goal for this year is to invest $1,500 a month in my traditional brokerage account, which breaks down to about $750 a paycheck. The reason I have decided on $1,500 is that this is the amount I have done in the past couple of months, so I know that I can do it, but I want to see if I can do it for all 12 months rather than just 3 months like I did at the end of 2024. This is also a decent chunk of my income every month, but because of my current stage of life, I don't have many expenses right now, so this is the best time to do it. Later on, once I have kids and a family and things like that, I may not always be able to do this, so I want to take advantage of my time and resources while I'm young. So yeah, I plan on investing $1,500 a month into ETFs and things like that, and hopefully I'll be able to do it. Now, my third financial goal for 2025 is to reach a major milestone of $100,000 net worth. If you watched my last video where I talked about my net worth, you might know that this is relatively close for me and something I think that is very attainable this year. Part of my current net worth is a car that will certainly lose value over the course of the year, but hopefully with the practices that I mentioned before, I will still exceed the $100,000 mark. The reason I'm picking $100K is because this is generally considered a pivotal amount where things really start to build and speed up due to a few different reasons, including compound interest. If you want to know more about why this is, check out this video up here where I talk about this phenomenon. But yeah, my fourth financial goal for this year is to try out different budgeting methods. And budgeting is something I already do and practice frequently, but the reason I want to try out different methods from the way I currently do it is because I've found that I will have a certain amount allocated to a certain category, and some months I'll spend way under that budgeted amount, and sometimes go way over it. For example, I budget an amount each month for gifts, but certain months I spend almost nothing on gifts, but for example in the month of December, I went way over my budget. In the grand scheme of things, it works out and I still stick to my budget overall, but I have thought about potentially setting up sinking funds for some of these less frequent but still used categories like travel and gifts and shopping. If you like to use sinking funds or have done it in the past, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments, and I can decide if it's something that I want to try to implement. But regardless, this goal is a little bit more unique than the prior few since it isn't a specific target amount, rather something that will be done more intermittently and ad hoc throughout the year. My fifth financial goal for this year is to increase the amount I donated last year. And a real quick disclaimer, I don't want this goal to come off as bragging or me thinking I'm better than anybody else, because that's certainly not the case. It's just something I personally want to do. Now, I'm not going to disclose the exact amount I donated last year simply because I don't know if I want to share that quite yet, but this will be something I track personally, and hopefully at the end of the year I can look back and see that I gave more than I did last year simply because I know I can give more. And there's a handful of reasons why I want to do this. One of them being that I personally believe that when you have the financial resources available, giving is one of the best things you can do, whether that's giving to a local church or a charity you like, or just to friends and family or people in need. And obviously, I'm not telling everybody they have to go and donate money because not everybody is able to. But I currently am in a position that I can do that, so that's something I want to. Personally, this is a habit I want to continue to build and cement, and hopefully will be able to continue throughout my life if I'm blessed enough to be able to. I personally plan on spreading this amount between my church, organizations that I believe in the cause of, and just miscellaneous other places that I see fit. But you can have your own opinions on where you think your money should go. That's totally up to you. Another reason I want to do this is something I heard from Dave Ramsey that really stuck with me, and he said that nobody has ever become poor by giving. And I would like to believe that this is true. I don't think that this will be detrimental to my financial well-being, and I can still continue to invest and act on good financial habits in other areas and be totally fine. And the money will be going to better causes than what I need it for. On top of all these other reasons, donating is also not only beneficial to the recipients, but actually it's beneficial to the giver themselves, i.e. me. Studies have continuously shown that people who donate experience higher self-esteem, better life satisfaction, increased dopamine and serotonin, and just a whole range of other benefits. So it's a win-win situation in my eyes. With all that being said, I plan on tracking all of these goals throughout the year and will keep you guys updated on them. But thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing or checking out this video over here that YouTube thinks you would like as well.